Hello guys, this is Reader and today we're taking another look at some Warcry. So, as I promised lately, I said we would be looking at some of the warbands at the lower tier and of my list, and then decide how we could bring them up in value, how we could make them competitive versus other warbands. So, if we take a look at movement, at this tier list again. You will have seen this. I'm not going to go into detail. Just let's have a look at the Tzeentch models, which is what we're going to talk about today. They are basically in 10th place from the bottom. And in this series, I'm going to do a video for each of these 10 warbands down in the bottom here and talk about how we can improve these. So, Tzeentch models, they have decent values across the board. So I really wondered what's wrong with these guys. Why do not they not score higher? And the answer is that their abilities are really bad. So to me in my ranking, they have the lowest value in abilities. So let's have a look at the abilities then. Um, so these guys have a double, which all fighters can use, which is add 1 to the strength and attack characteristic for the next melee attack action. Reading this at first, you think, oh, that's good, that's better than Onslaught, but actually it's not really better because it only adds these things for one attack action. So Onslaught does it for the whole activation, and this does it for the next melee attack action. So it's good if you if you have to spend one of your two actions moving, then you should use this double afterwards for the attack because it's better than Onslaught then. But if you are going to attack twice, use the Onslaught ability because it's going to add attacks to both of your actions. Sorry. Good. Then we have a double for the Acolyte with the bird. And it's just enemies within, like pick one enemy within 20 inch and he can't make any disengage actions. To be honest, I don't think this is a great ability at all. Abilities that allow you to pin opponents in place are very strong in general, but this one only pins opponents in place with one of your fighters, and that's not something you really want to do, especially with Tzeentch models because they are more on the heavy damage but rather squishy side, so I don't think that's a great ability. Then we've got the double only the Zangors can use. Basically all Zango units can use this. Not the mutant, I think. Anyways, they throw a number of dice equal to the ability and each 4+ deals 1 damage to one opponent within 1 inch. Very standard ability, not great there to be honest, but it's not horrible. So I think this one is okay. And we've got the triple for the Enlightened, and that's for all the Enlightened who are melee focused. So the guy on foot with polearm, the leader on foot, the guys on disc, not the archers though, and that goes for the Zango mutant as well. So add half the value of this ability to the damage of the next attack action. But this only works if the enemy has moved already. So in general, I think this can be a strong ability, right? If you have, let's say, the average 3 of triple 3, triple 4, you're going to add 2 damage to all your hits and crits. But there's 2 limitations to this. Firstly, it's only applying for one attack action. So again, just like the first one, sadly not for 2 attacks in a row. And it only affects enemies that have moved already. So to make this work, you're limited to when you can activate. You can't activate before your opponent has if you want to use this triple, which can be a bit of an issue, to be honest. I think that's a limit. I do like it though. It's thematic, right? They try to do something thematic, and this is like guided by the past. I think that's fair enough. So I I think this rule is fine, but I don't think the ability is that great in general. Then we have a triple for the leader, and this is where it really all comes down. Add the value of this ability to other abilities within 6-inch. That is horrible. That is absolutely garbage. So if the leader uses this, and say here it's the like the normal case of a triple three, triple four. Okay, you're adding 4 points to the value of another ability. Okay, say you're using this ability close with an enlightened close by. So he's going to get 2 extra damage on his attacks, on one attack, that is. Honestly, that's not amazing. It really isn't. Yeah, and keep in mind, it's very unlikely to have 2 triples. Normally you get 1 triple and a double or something like that. Obviously, with the wild die, you can normally always make a triple because you will most of the times roll a double and then you can make it a triple. But having 2 triples isn't that likely. So really, in many cases, it's probably going to be you use this and then you can only use it for this horrible thing that allows you to throw a couple more dice. Throwing 4 more dice for 1 damage that's 2 more damage. So you're using a triple for your leader and then a double for another fighter for throwing out 2 more damage. That is horrendously bad, to be honest. And then you've got a quad for the enlightened archers. That's adding half of the value of the ability for the next to the damage for the next action. It's the same the triple for the enlightened melee is. However, it applies to enemies that have not moved yet. So the opposite of this one. Again, I think it's okay, but it's definitely not great, and it's a quad as well. And quads, man, a quad shouldn't have this many limitations. This is a limitation, and then it's only for 1 action as well. Oof, I think you see where I'm getting at. This is a lot of bad abilities here. So what could we do to change these? Well, I've taken the time to rework some of these abilities, have a look at them, and work out how we could do better for this warband in general. So the first ability I think is fine. It's not better than Onslaught, but in some cases you will use it over Onslaught if you have made a move action first and then doing an attack action. This is fine. So I think you can keep this. Then we've got the double for the Acolytes, which is for the Acolyte Bird. I would scratch the Acolyte with Bird and give all Acolytes 1 ability, a double ability, which is reroll the next attack action. The inspiration for this is actually from Age of Sigmar, where where they have each acolyte unit has a spell that allows them to reroll hits. I think it is on their ranged attack. So I'm sticking very close to the Age of Sigmar rules here. So we're sticking to the theme. Re-rolling the next attack action, that's a unique ability no fighter has, and I think it's not too powerful, seeing as how their attacks are generally like not the most damaging, and it only goes for 1 attack action, not for the whole activation. I think this would be a very cool ability. It would be something unique for Tzeentch, and it's just a lot more useful. It's going to see a lot more uses than the double for the Bird Acolyte. Yeah. Then we've got the double for the Zangos. I would actually leave at that. I think it's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Then we've got the triple for the Enlightened and Melee. And what I would change here is adding the value of the dice to the entire activation, not only 1 attack action. So if you're taking 2 attack actions, let them deal the damage for both actions. I think that's a lot better. I'm keeping this this thing here with the targeting enemies that have moved already, because I think it's it's very thematic and it works with the warband, but yeah, I think if you're going to have a big limitation like this, at least make it for the entire activation, not only for one action. And I think that makes this ability a lot better. Then we've got the leader, and I'm making this ability a quad now. And I think you'll agree with me if you see what I come up with here, because I'm saying you throw dice equal to the value of this ability. So again, let's say it's a quad 4, and then you throw 4 dice, and each 3 up is 1 extra wild dice for the next turn. I think this could be a very interesting and cool ability. I think this kind of does what the original is supposed to do, because this is supposed to buff your abilities, right? The entire point of this is to make your abilities more useful. And this is what this does. I think it fits very well with theme, because it says because it's something you're doing in advance. You're actually you have to prepare. Basically, it's not going to be useful right away, but it's going to be useful next battle round. And I think this can be a very powerful but very interesting mechanic. So this is what I've come up with here, and I think it does a lot of a better job than this triple does. And then we've got the same quad for the enlightened archers, but again, I'm adding the damage for the entire activation, not only for one action. And I think that's all we have to do for this warband. I wouldn't change any of the fighters. I would not add any new fighters. I think reworking these abilities is all that has to be done to make this warband, the Tzeentch Mortals, a competitive and nice warband to play. So guys, please let me know what you think, if you agree with me, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.